Technology is key to bringing the energy industry forward. But what are the technological challenges on the Norwegian Continental Shelf today? What are the upsides and opportunities? And which technologies can we expect to disrupt existing way of operating our business? Let's find out by joining Anne Blomberg from ONS in her conversation with Chair of ONS Technical Committee and Managing Director of Wintershall Norway, Alf Bjørn Solheim, and his committee colleagues Steffan Lindsø and Øystein Stjern.
At ONS, we're privileged to have a technical committee gathering experts from the energy industry. We have professionals from operators, from the service and supply industry, from tech companies, from research institutions, public authorities, and so on. Today, 3 of them has joined me here at Wintershall Norway's headquarters in Stavanger. So come on, let's go inside and meet them. First of all, I would like to thank the 3 of you for being here with us today, and foremost to Alf for hosting us. I'd like to start with you, Alf. You're the leader of the ONS Technical Committee. As the leader of the committee, could you tell us a bit about the work that you did to define the challenges for technical sessions?
Yes, I can do that. Being allowed to pull together 20 experts from the industry, from different companies with different background, different age, different thinking, sitting together, brainstorming, coming up with the challenges we want to explore at the ONS has really been exciting. And we came up with 23 challenges that we wanted to explore at the ONS and invite the whole world to give us some answers and some thoughts from their view. So it's really been amazing working with these guys and the rest of the technical committee.
But for you then, from the work that you did here, what do you see as the biggest challenge?
I think we very, in the beginning, of course, discussed the normal things we are discussing when it comes to technology in our business, being greenfield, brownfield, drilling, subsea, and all these themes. But we also agreed that digitalization and environment have to be part of the challenges we are discussing at this ONS. And so we did.
Steffan, do you agree with Alf, or do you have what do you see as one of the big challenges?
Digitalization, definitely. Making use, we are really good at now, well, we're becoming a lot better at recording and basically collecting data. But it's still a major challenge to make good use of it, which I think will be a challenge for many years to come. So that's one thing, and then also just automation, making sure that we don't need to bring people everywhere, and that goes really much to the environment as well. Instead of having to fly people back and forth, trying to make use of technology in the best way possible in order to avoid all of that logistics which currently is taking place.
And actually proving the added value that digitalization can give us. It's in itself a challenge, because we need to document that this in fact gives us reduced costs or increased margins and so on. Yeah.
And I think we really have tried it now with COVID-19 came and we sent everybody back home, sitting behind the PC and so on. I think we have been a lot more digitized than we were before the summer break.
The mindset has moved massively over the past few months. Yeah. That's been a big help.
We have also asked these questions to 2 of your colleagues in the ONS Technical Committee. Let's have a look at that.
We need to develop technology to increase recovery. Efficient solutions for draining smaller volumes is necessary, and this requires efficient mapping of resources and efficient well solutions.
So there's been a lot of talk about digitalization for a long time. But still, there's a big challenge to scale digital solutions from proof of concepts to something that can be operationalized and scaled across the business. Hence, it's key for industrial companies to choose technologies and also partner with companies that can help indeed to operationalize and scale these solutions across their assets.
Any comments to what we just heard from Aina and Jon Markus? Øystein?
I think it's to the point. Increased oil recovery, make marginal fields more profitable. That's a good point. And how to use technology to make that happen. We discussed one of the challenges was related to produce water handling to make that happen. So I think that's to the point. And with regards to digitalization, Mr. Løvik is pointed to some of the same things I said, that we need to document how this has an added value for us as an industry. And scaling of digitalization will be important in the near future.
Yeah. Alf?
Yeah, I think Aina's comment in increased oil recovery is always important. Because you have a lot of installations there's more volumes, and to increase the recovery to take out volumes instead of developing new fields and so on, I think it's very, very important, and it's maybe cheap volumes to get out, but we need new technology to take out even more than we have been able to today. And in addition to that, we also on Norwegian Shelf have a lot of small discoveries that have been discovered, that have been drilled, but are not developed. Yeah. And we also need, as Øystein said, technology to develop these small discoveries with new technology, cheaper technology, and fast-track projects.
Now we've been talking about, the challenges that you put out. So in the period, the end of November until mid-February, companies have the possibility to apply to the challenges of the technical sessions. And does the industry respond to the challenges? Do they come up with good solutions? Alf, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing to see the response from the industry. I think we had from 21 countries, 150 different companies, more than 300, close to 400, I think, applications. They wanted to come and tell us what they can do, what they can learn us, what they have of experience and so on. So I think this was really, really a good response. So it's really sad that we couldn't come through with it, but I really look forward to 2022 when we can again come together and explore and learn from each other and what have you.
Steffan, you work for Oceaneering and you were also working on the subsea challenges. What do you think about the applications that we got in?
I think they were generally pretty great. What really came to mind was that a lot of it was proper technical challenges and responses, not necessarily a sales pitch. So there were very few that seemed to be just a sales pitch. Much of it was really a genuine wish to tell about a technical solution. And how that would improve a thing. So that one, I think, that hit home for me. That it was nice to see that it wasn't a marketing exercise. It was a lot about the technical expertise.
Yeah, and Øystein, you already mentioned a bit about that. You worked on production optimization and low emissions. What do you think?
No, I also I share the same view as these guys, but I also think that we ask questions based on our background. We were 20 different people. What was interesting is that also some of the applications made us ask the questions again with some sort of a different approach. So it was almost like a dialogue with the applicants at a point. But so from my point of view, it's spot on, and I think the industry embraces these opportunities to tell about technology that can move the industry forward.
I think what Øystein is saying now is really important, because the whole thing with the technical committee, with all the sessions and the challenges we are putting out, the challenges is coming from 20 people, but we are asking more or less the whole world. And as Øystein said, we already in the technical committee learned a lot because of all the applicants we read through and so on and so on. And there's a lot of good things out there that we can use in our industry going forward.
And Alf, this is the second time that you were the leader of the committee. Is there a difference in the applications that we got in this time than from 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think there's a difference both in the applications but also in our thinking. Some others in the team also attended in 2018, but there's new ones between the 20s as well. But I think we also have changed. And the industry has changed. There's more discussion about environment, there's more discussions of energy efficiency, there's more discussion around climate change, there's more discussions on digitalization, and this has accelerated after last time. We have all the other topics that we normally are discussing, as I said in the beginning, subsea, brownfield, greenfield, and all this stuff. We have drilling and wells and so on, but this is really accelerating on the top of it. So I think that's really one of the differences.
And I find it interesting to see how technology meets the environmental perspective. Like within electrification, we try to challenge, is it in fact something that can reduce cost for the oil companies, or is it just an environmental contributor? So between technological and environmental perspectives, there's a lot of interesting things to look at.
And it's much easier to be environmentally friendly if it also saves your cost.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the one that we really need to hit on.
So then in a climate perspective, how can new technology enable reduced environmental footprint of the industry? What do you think of that, Steffan?
Again, it's trying to find things that are contributing both to saving emissions and also saving money. Is the sure way to make sure that it happens quickly, because the industry, like any industry, it takes a long time to adapt new technology. It's just the facts regarding of what industry you're in, not least ours. And if you can find something that allows you to save on both sides, that at least gives you enough momentum for everyone to accept that this is a good idea. So that in our world is a lot to do with making sure that we do things efficiently, and that is not only to do with small bits, but also just trying to rethink how we both manufacture things and also how we operate things with less people at sites, which contributes both to safety, HSE, and cost.
I think also that ONS is not only oil and gas. We have a lot of wind power in there. We had it in 2018 and plan to have even more this year. But also ONS technical sessions and the committee is a very open session where we also are inviting other industries like the car industry and aviation industry and so on. And they have done a lot already when it comes to climate and climate change and these stuff. And we have in our industry now also adapted to, for instance, hybrid packages on rigs and vessels and so on, ships, where we are taking down the emissions because we are using battery packages much more than 2 years ago.
And I think it's for the industry, it's vital to try to communicate what we do more precisely, because obviously we are contributing to making a product that also have CO2 emissions. So what we're working with quite hard is to look at how we can reduce the CO2 emissions with regards to production or manufacturing or making the product. So that's how, and it's hard to communicate when everybody says that, okay, but you're not contributing to less CO2 because everyone uses your product. But we are actually working quite hard to reduce CO2 emissions within our industry. Yeah.
And the whole industry is now saying we want to be part of the solution. Yeah. In my view, we are not the problem, but we are part of it. But we also want to be part of the solution. And I think that's really important.
I think you just touched upon it. I was thinking of transfer of technology, from the oil and gas and over to other industries. Is that also an aspect that we've been seeing more of?
I think the different industries are more open to share now. We see that in HSE, we're sharing very openly across companies, across industries, and I think we do the same when it comes to the environment as well, because we are not competing there. So we are very open, all industries are very open to learn from each other and to really be a contributor to climate change.
I think what we saw in the submissions we got from the questions we asked is that things like, an obvious one is offshore wind, where everything that we've done on this part offshore with regards to oil and gas production really goes hand in hand with offshore wind, and all the expertise that lies in everything that we've done for so many years really bodes well for pushing offshore wind, especially floating, further in the next couple of decades. So that one was, there were some really interesting submissions there that lends well to what we've done.
Øystein, you're also in charge of a renewable section in your company.
Yeah.
How does that relate to what Lindsø said here?
Now, obviously, investors and owners tend to have, when you talk about renewables and green technology, it's obviously more interesting now than it was 10 years ago. So that's a perspective that you need to adapt to as a company. But we established a renewable section because we see that both subsea and topside, also offshore wind, there is a potential for making use of technology that we already have and developing new technology. And drone technology, both subsea topside, is part of that. So we see it's a growing market. Yeah.
If we should talk now about, some of the things you see now, what we will see as, the top technology, something you really believe in, the cool thing you see right now. What will that be for you, Øystein?
No, I like, and probably as my colleague here, drone technology is, we are a service company, so the part of us that is most technology related is to equipment that we use to perform our services. And we've already done offshore inspections with drones in the air, and I think that moves subsea quite rapidly. So that's engaging to me. I like working with that type of technology.
And you work with robotics in Oceaneering, Steffan, so will you add up to what...
I can only compliment that. Absolutely, it's super interesting as an engineer, but it's just especially the subsea part is so challenging because we lack the understanding of where we are in the world, which means that everything that we do with regards to algorithms and everything else have to be so thoroughly tested and trusted in order for us to release these things on our assets. So, but I think for the next, things will be slow, as they always are when you are impatient and you believe in things. But over the next decade, I think there's going to be a huge difference in how we interact with our subsea assets, both with regards to how we actuate them and also how we inspect them. So that bit I think is really interesting, and that could be both drones and it can also just be sort of permanent installations that doesn't require us to bring out a vessel every time we have to do something.
Mm-hmm. And from an operator's perspective, what's important with what kind of technology do you look into? And another question at the same time, what is important for you as an operator when you should use new technology?
Yeah. I think coming back to the lockdown we had mid of March, where we sent everybody back home to their home office, was really a scary decision to make and very strange. But I have been very, very impressed of how people have handled this, how they have worked from home. And thanks to, especially in Norway, where we have fiber optics more or less all over the place, we established home offices very quickly, in a day, then we were up running. And what really impressed me is the exploration department, because we were in the middle of drilling wells. And they were sitting back home doing geosteering, placing the well in the right place. Normally we are sitting in the office in fancy rooms and so on with a lot of equipment and so on and so on. But they really went back home and they did geosteering from home. That really impressed me.
And I also think we should look at that technology will also change the business models. it definitely will have an impact on how the different companies interact and how the contracts are set up. And that's also an interesting aspect of new technology that we don't need to forget. It's and that would, I guess, for the operators are interesting because they are looking to reduce cost and how can we work more efficient, and new business models will adapt to that. Yeah.
And these companies, they are very important for us as operators because they are doing a lot of innovation, R&D, coming up with new solutions and so on. We may sponsor something from time to time, as we do, but we don't have all these things in-house. It's those guys doing this. And I think now with the digitalization and what we have done now with home office and so on, I think we can be even closer without being together. That we faster can come to new technology and develop even better.
Øystein, you mentioned new business models, and then I'd like us to talk a bit more, the opportunities that we see. Before I'll let you talk about it, let's see what one of the other members of the technical committee said about that.
Yeah, Norway have a unique opportunity at this point in time. We can combine the strong industrial, competence and heritage with, with modern, software technology, and combining this with our openness and collaborative, ways of working, we can really, change the world or change the industrial world into something much better. I believe Norway can become a leading industrial, global tech hub for the world in the next, 10 to 20 years if we collaborate. Use our strong combined industrial and software innovation capabilities, and also have the collaboration between both companies and the government.
So what do you think about the ambitions that we already heard from Jon Markus Lervik in Cognite? Norway is a global tech hub for the world. Øystein?
I think that's ambitious. Very ambitious. Maybe in some parts we can be a global leading hub for some parts of the technology. We have a lot of technology, even though we're a small country, and we've been able to use the collaborative model in Norway to work together to create things. That is obviously an advantage. But we also know that, for instance, the car industry, I don't know if we'll be driving cars ourselves 10 years from now. So there's a lot of things happening also outside the energy, oil and gas industry that I don't think we will be leading towards, but maybe within energy industry we can take a lead.
Alf, you have any comments?
Yeah, I think the comment from Øystein is really good, and what Jon Markus also is saying is that we need to work together. We are bringing the software technology and the software guys together with the industry that is more hardware driven, and I think there's a lot of challenges to overcome there, but also a lot of opportunities in it. I think in Norway we are very open. We are sharing technology together and discussing very openly. I really see a big future for it. When it comes to be leading and maybe worldwide leading, I think we should be ambitious, as Jon Markus says, because just think about subsea and subsea technology. I think Norway have been very, very eager and to lead and to develop and innovate and so on. And where we are today with subsea is just amazing. Thinking about the subsea factory, not only the subsea templates with wells and so on, but when it also comes to water handling, when it comes to producing the volumes and so on, I think we really are on the edge when it comes to subsea, and we can transfer that also to new technology and new challenges and new ways of working.
Subsea, that's also your area, Steffan. So what are the opportunities you see there?
Well, I think for us in Norway, we have some things that are going well for us. We are really good at producing and manufacturing and just creating industries that are environmentally friendly and are responsible. That is something that is quite unique to this part of the world. There's a collaboration that you mentioned that really allows us to go one step further than anyone else that are trying to just compete hard against hard every time. So if we're good at exploiting that, that gives us an edge. And then harsh environments, something that every industry in Norway is really dealing with, or most of them are, is aquaculture, for example, is really manufacturing a lot of equipment that is really, really solid and works in every single day in an incredibly harsh environment. So back to that sort of niche comment about, yeah, we can be leading in some areas for sure. And I think those, especially the harsh environment, sort of making solid products that really work every single day. That's something that we've done for many, many years, yeah.
And we probably have one more advantage, and that is proven now due to the COVID-19, and that is adapting to new digital solutions. Yeah. When needed, we did so. The whole country did so, very fast. Yeah.
So from opportunities, I'd like to take us, further down the road and I want us to discuss, how do you think it will be on the NCS in the future? And first, we have one of our other colleague in the ONS Technical Committee who has a comment on that.
The digitalization we see today is just in its very beginning. We will see much more digitized and automated workflow in the future. This will lead to better processes and better decision, which again is necessary if we shall reduce costs and emissions.
So Steffan, Aina just talked about digitalization. Is that the thing that you think is going to change the industry further down the line?
Yeah. We just need to understand what digitalization means. It means many different things for many different people, but I don't have any doubts that we will use more digital products. We will be using more data, hopefully. I hope as well that we will have the courage to use it. We have to prove it and we have to develop it such that it is consistent. But I hope that we get the courage to use it fast, such that we can start using the advantages of it. Because there's a lot of things out there, which we saw as well when we got all the responses on the technical committee, that there's a lot of technology right now on the doorstep waiting to be used.
Øystein?
Yeah, I agree, and we also need to understand the digital future such that we can make good decisions now. What parts are we focusing on? And what was mentioned was it's a huge amount of information that need to be evaluated. That's going to be an automated process. Normally we sit like people and do decisions based on what we've found ourselves. Now we're going to make decisions based on what a computer tells us to do. So it's definitely going to change the world moving forward. Yeah.
Alf?
I really look forward to having more of the new generations into our houses and into our workplaces. When I'm looking at them today, I call them the gaming generation, to see how they are handling the machine, how they are interacting, how they are playing together and so on, to have them in our house with their thinking, with their knowledge and so on, challenging us that haven't been through that when we were kids and youth people. I really look forward to that because I think they will really challenge the way we are working today and really improve and digitize even more than we can think about. So it's a bright future for them in our industry, and we will open the door for them.
Okay, thank you to the three of you for being here today and sharing your knowledge. If I should wrap up what we've been talking about today in a few words, is that yes, there are challenges on the NCS, but the industry is responding to them. And the way forward is working on technology is a collaboration. Alf, as our host today, very much like to give the word to you if you have any concluding remarks.
Yeah, I can do that. And first of all, thank you to Øystein and Steffan also for contributing today and also in the technical committee. I really, really appreciate that. And also the others in the technical committee. I think we did a great job. We established a very nice program, a very interesting program. I'm really looking forward to ONS 2022 because we will see more of this and we will see what have developed since 2020 and 2022. What we haven't discussed today is CCS and hydrogen. Down the road, I think we will see more of that as well. We will see more of greener technology. We will see more of the gaming industry coming into our industry. And I think our industry, which we love, really have a bright future. And I'm really also looking forward to see that we are part of the solution when it comes to climate targets and when it comes to these challenges that we need to solve together. And I think our industry will put money into this in the future. And as I said, really be part of the solution. And also thank you to ONS for letting me do this part job together with these guys and the rest of the committee. For giving us the opportunity to talk to the world, talk to all the companies we invited and the ones that applied for coming to ONS. Sorry we couldn't do it, but this is the best we could do. But 2022, we are back.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to our experts in the ONS Technical Committee today. We were really looking forward to share with you all the knowledge of the speakers that were lined up for the technical sessions. Unfortunately, we were not able to do so, but we still have some front-end technology and innovation we'd like to show to you. Some of the technologies and the innovations that were supposed to be shown at technical sessions, they made it to the finals of the ONS Innovation Awards. So until we meet again in 2022, let's meet the ONS 2020 Innovation Award finalists.
Our pioneering subsea power technology enables energy companies to access up to 100 megawatts of power over distances up to 600 kilometers and down to 3,000 meter water depth.
Here at Champion X, we drive sustainability through science. Our Excelsior technology is a game changer for polymer flooding. Working closely with BP specialists, we've overcome one of the biggest challenges, polymer degradation by shear. In overcoming this hurdle, we no longer have to overdose the product by up to 70% in order to achieve the same results.
This is a whole new way of thinking about carbon capture and storage. The project will enable the first open access CCS value chain, paving the way for cost reductions and a scale-up of CCS.
The Aura Intelligent Wireline Formation Testing Platform combines cutting-edge downhole hardware with the digital infrastructure to deliver a step change in dynamic reservoir characterization in all conditions, including those previously impossible to assess.
The Weldtec Annular Isolation, or Y, provides a long-length open-hole sealing system to replace cement. Its initial application was to provide zonal isolation across a highly layered reservoir where selective production, acid diversion stimulation, and water shutoff were required.
Developed a downhole infracontrol system for optimizing oil production, cash flow and carbon reduction. It adds value through high productivity wells and increased oil recovery.
AMPIG has recently proven a new flow assurance technology that enables unlimited transport distances of oil and gas. this is done by controlled handling of wax and hydrates in our Always Clean cooler system.
AOGV is a setting tool for a blind spade in a pair of pressurized flanges. This really changes the way plants can be operated, and the result is increased uptime and reduced risk.
Our technology, the Energy Pod, is a first of its kind transportable autonomous energy container. This 100% renewable energy generator utilizing our patented Nautilus offshore wind turbine, combined with vertical oriented solar panels and also energy storage.
Our innovation enables subsea charging of all types of robots. One shape fits all. One flat charging station ready to charge all types of drones. Our innovation is an enabler for moving people and control onshore. It's digitalization in real-life application.